Hi everybody, welcome to flight launch of Dock 3 and FlightBase. We're excited to show you the latest features that we've been developing which will be compatible with Dock 3 and how you can deploy Dock 3 at the large scale with all the compliance, security, integrations and so on. We're very excited to have DJI with us today to talk about Dock 3. But before that, let's see the launch video. Wow, amazing. What a piece of hardware DJ has come up with. Now, to understand more about what is in under the hood in the Dock 3, we would like to invite Irving on the stage to talk about the hardware specifications and specific use cases and what made DJI get started with the third generation of docking station. So let's invite Irving to learn more about Dock 3.
Welcome everyone to join today's webinar. My name is Irving. I'm Dock Solutions Engineer from DJI Enterprise. Today, our webinar focus is to meet DJI Dock 3, powered by FlightBase. Thank you, FlightBase team, to invite me to be your guest speaker. I'm invited to talk about our latest product, Join Box, DJI Dock 3. The idea of the product is to deploy it around your assets, and you can receive the drone data remotely in your headquarters or, let's say, home office. The product was built for the road less troubled. And regarding if you decided to deploy around your assets, the top priority is to keep it safe all the time. So the tough and reliability become the first priority for the hardware. On the DJI Dock 3, we provide IP56 and 12 meter per second wind resistance capability to cover most industrial use cases for our customers. And besides, on DJI Dock 3, we integrate our most professional mapping camera from DJI Enterprise to the DJI Dock 3, the force racing modes and mechanical shutter ready for the high precision mapping task. And what's more, we also provide highest standards of regulation compliance on third generation. We have the GDPR compliance regarding regarding the data in European territory. Also, several third-party addition regarding the data security. Also, for the regulation compliance, we provide an end-to-end C6 solution for our customer. So feel free to operate the DJI Dock 3 in the standard scenario 02. Okay, and we also provide on-house flight termination system, which we're going to introduce later. So first, I want to introduce you guys a nice video our team produced. Basically, before we launch the product, we are performing a series of the internal tests to validate the quality of the product. As we can see from the video, we are doing the waterproof test and also the freezing rain and icing test to make sure our product, let's say the goods we ship it to your hands, it's after the validation can meet the challenges from your scenario. And also the high-low temperature we tested simulating in the factory to test the lowest and highest temperature range of the products. And the dust test to make sure our drone can even fly in the challenging scenario like the very hot, very fire, very smoke scenario. It's all components after test regarding the gimbal, the propellers, the arms, the flight control system, basically all body of the drone. Also the vibration test. Dock 3 is a generation where we can deploy on the car, so the vibration test could be essentials for the Dock product. Anaerobe durability test. Rotation durability test. Gimbal aging test. We are simulating after 3,000 flights, the drone can still perform as good as your own, as needed. of course, and wind and rain test. We have a huge testing basement. We basically put 50 docks there to performing different tests every day to make sure our product can handle most of the challenging scenarios. Okay, great. Give you guys a outlooking introduction of the third generation. On top of the product, we provide a 8 degrees tilt to the cover to help to prevent the buildup of the rising ring. And here we add a Type-C ports for the future product evolution. And here, if you notice, we are providing a third PoE port. It's for the power supply of the DRTK3, and also the new basement for a safer delivery, and the classic design, like the weather station. Also, we enhanced the new sealing system for the waterproof and water protection for the internal components. And if we open up the dock, we can also see the similar design like the landing mark here. Here is for the cellular dongle too, so you can use the 4G for the communication between the drone and the dock. Here I want to highlight one thing as we actually move out the main RTK antenna out of the box. The external RTK module with 2 dB greater signal receivement capability, so we can reach to a faster and more stable RTK calibration. And introduce you guys very, very first selling point of the Dock 3 is faster takeoff. As we can see from the video, we actually deployed Dock 2 and Dock 3 same time, and to compare them the takeoff speed. As we can see, the time goes up. The Dock 2 is opening slowly, but the Dock 3 is already like within 11 seconds, it's already successfully taken off. The Dock 2 still takes some time to calibrate RTK, calibrate the GNSS signal, and then ready to fly. Also, we enhanced the Dock 3 the climbing speed, so we can reach to 100 meters within 30 seconds on the Dock 3. Another big improvement of the Dock 3 is we can basically deploy in many scenarios. The first scenario is a vehicle. We can deploy the Dock 3 on your car, on your pickup, which we're gonna introduce later. And second, as the RTK is easier to fix with DRTK3, we can deploy a DRTK3 on top of the building to help the RTK module of the dock to receive the RTK signal from the satellite, then transfer it to the dock. So here we are receiving the RTK signal. Then through the OcuSync 4 Plus, we are transmitting all of the RTK signal to the docking station. And third point is enhanced RTK signal performance. We are using the external RTK module, 2 dB signal greater, like I introduced, to have a faster and more reliable RTK convergence. And the fourth is the precise landing techniques. Basically, the drone have a series of the technology combination to ensure the safely landing to the dock. Let's first take a look of the mobile deployment. There are 4 technology updates. First is key components anti-vibration. Like we saw in the video, most of the components inside of the dock, we already gave it a series of the anti-vibration test. And second is a vehicle-mounted gimbal mount. So we provide another accessory to help you to protect your drone and your gimbal during the mobile deployments, during the long travel, let's say. And third is remote RTK calibration. We support one tap from FlyHub 2 to calibrate your already, let's say, moved the Dock 3. And we integrate the horizontal angle detection into the dock hardware. With this 4 new technology, we believe we can reach to several new use cases, like drone as a first responder. The dock can be deployed on the pickup for the firefighter, and flexible assets inspection. I believe several of the drone service provider can use this capability to reach to a higher ROI for your business. And multiple site construction monitoring, same logic. Here is how it works. So as shown in the video, we are driving the car and with the dock at the back trunk. And when we arrive the final destination, here we can edit it. We can calibrate our RTK signal. As we can see here, we can remotely calibrate it. After the calibration, the drone will be ready to take off. Another big news, I would say, is that our drone Matrice 4D series, which is compatible with DJI Dock 3, is ready to be a standalone combo. So you can also buy the Matrice 4D series as a standalone combo. The difference between the Matrice 4D and the Matrice 4 Enterprise series is IP rating, and also we have the onboard relay function, extended flight time, and intelligent features. What's more, we also provide you a very comfortable case, let's say, case to place your charging hub, the 3 batteries, remote controller, just basically like a normal drone. So Matrice 4D series is ready to be a standalone combo, also with the dock version. Yeah, so after the hardware, I would like to introduce you guys several new news on our software side. On the FlyHub 2, we have intelligent safety guard features. Basically, we can use the intelligent features to detect different targets, such as personal protection equipment, as we can see. Also, the human, boats, vehicle could be detected and counted here. Also, we are inviting the third-party developer to integrate their algorithm into our platform. So FlyHub 2 is more like a platform to host all the algorithm, and we provide a comprehensive solution, end-to-end solution to our customers. On top of that, we also support, I would say, the most powerful mission planning tool in the market. We support 6 different way to plan your mission. Waypoint and mapping mission could be, let's say, the basic to meet the basic industry use cases. But on top of that, we also support for your advanced mission planning, like linear mission, slope mission, geometric mission, and Smarty 3D mission. And after the data capture, we also provide you a great tool on FlyHub 2. We call it Analyzer module to help you to analyze your drone photo and drone data. So first I want to introduce is design file overlay. So basically we can input a PDF or DXF file into FlyHub 2. Then we support to overlay it on our map. As we can see, we can do the comparison between the PDF and the real world 3D model. This could be very interesting for the project commitment. And of course, we support the 2D model comparison, side-by-side compare, to understand to visualize the changes over time. On top of that, what's more, we also support different angle photo comparison. As we can see, the grid view of the timed photo. Let's say at 10th of February, we find something, let's say, abnormal in the construction site. And we reset, we change to another date, we find it's disappeared, means that the problem being fixed. This could be very interesting for the construction service provider to generate your reports. And we already automatically help you to create the reports. Yeah, and another new features is volumetric measurement. As we can see in the video, on FlightHub 2, we support to select a big zone, the 3D zone, okay? And we support to measure the volumetric of it, volume of it. So we support to, based on one single model, to measure the different excavation and fill volume. Also, we support to do the comparison. Let's say the difference calculation between two timed model. Yeah. And also we visualize it here. The red is for the excavation and the blue is for the fill volume. Yeah, that's cool for the technical updates. And what's more, I want to give you guys an introduction of the regulation updates. So we are providing a series of technical features, or let's say support, to our end user to help you get the flight permission. First, for the European markets, we are providing the flight termination system and the geocaching function. This is ready for the European C6 certification. Okay, so the DJI Dock 3 with the C6 label, C6 certification, you can simply operate in the standard scenario 02 without operational authorization from your CAA. And we are providing a series of the safety features like obstacle data, the custom flight area. Also, we support the third-party parachute development, and we're providing a very robust system, like I introduced in the beginning, with high IP rating and 12 meters per second wind resistance and temperature. What's more, we also support several features like remote ID, like ADS-B, environmental monitoring, and emergency landing features to help our customer operator to get your permission, and of course to avoid the potential manned aircraft collision. Let's take a closer look on the European C6 certification. DJI Matrice 40 series aircraft and Dock 3 compliant with the C6 requirement as defined in the European law. To meet the C6 requirements, we develop our own flight termination system. It's basically already pre-installed in your DJI Dock 3. Okay, and most important is to trigger the FTS independently, separately. And also, the geocaching function help our customer to prevent the drone from flying away. Basically, we limit our drone in the flight geography. The drone won't go out. If the drone is intend to go out, based on the situation like GNSS loss or being jammed, we're gonna send a series of warning and have the engine brake. If the drone is still trying to leave the continuous volume, we're gonna send the final warning and trigger the FTS. Here's how to trigger it on FlightHub 2. We need to enable it from your organization, then enable it from your project. Then you can draw a flight geocaching, then limit your drone, enhance your operational safety. Another big support is we are providing a comprehensive documentation templates for our customers. So we are cooperating with one of the most experienced compliance consultancy company in Europe, help us to generate end-to-end documentation templates to help our end user based on the EASA SAL2 risk assessment. I hope our templates provided will help you to save your time and get faster to get your operational authorization. Great. And last of my parts, I would like to say thank you to all of the attendees. And I believe Drone Box is the future of the drone markets. Everyone who joined the webinar today, we are creating the future together. And if there's any more feedback regarding the product, any feedback for the DJI, we are very happy to answer the question and improve our product to push the future sooner to your hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Irving. That's an incredible piece of hardware. The temperature resistance, the different weather conditions, Those were the challenges that everybody was facing as they were deploying docking stations. Now, with the repeater that you've introduced, where you can have a longer range with the dock and the drone, as well as all the specifications of the camera, would really enable use cases like security surveillance, inspections, mapping, and so on. This is truly a docking station which can scale and have a longer term impact on the businesses. Now, as enterprises are deploying these docking stations, the challenges still remain the same. You're deploying docking stations on your site where you have IT compliance, data security concerns, as these docking stations will be talking to your network. Some compliances even need things where the entire piece of software should be running on their servers. That does not take away all the integrations that they need or the internet connectivity or the bandwidth issues that they have. So today I have Rudrev and Abog with me, which are going to talk about what we have been building in FlightBase in the next edition, and we are bringing that to all the docking stations which are compatible with FlightBase. So first up, we're excited to announce FlightBase Shield 2.0. Earlier this year, we announced FlightBase Shield, which enabled docking station to have a complete sandbox environment and ensures that it does not talk to any third-party servers or have any concerns related to data security. So to talk about more on that, I would like to invite Amok. Amok, please help us understand what is FlightBase Shield and what is coming in the 2.0.
Right. So, as Achal mentioned, the challenges with Dock 3 remain the same as they were previously with the drones and docking station operations. And primarily, one of them is around data security and compliance. So, as enterprises are deploying this dock on their networks, most of these are enterprise-grade networks, which have, and within the organization, as well as when you look at local regulations, which might be, let's say, regulations pertaining to EU or regulations pertaining to the Middle East, there are concerns around data security and where the docking station as a critical piece of hardware is communicating with. What are the different endpoints that it is communicating with? What are the different kind of domains that it works with, and all of this. So visibility into this is point one, where FlightBase Shield, which goes on the AIR device, is coming into the picture. This piece of hardware kind of puts itself between the docking station and any other enterprise grade network. So it is directly hardwired into the docking station, and that is where we have our own firewalls that run there, which kind of sandbox the entire docking station network environment. With that, with 2.0, we are coming up with this entire shield setup on the dashboard, where we provide detailed visibility of and communication logs of each and every network call that was made by the docking station, be it to allowed servers or servers that have been blocked. And with that, we are also doing region-based segregation of this data to clearly show users where all the docking station wanted to connect to, what was allowed, what was blocked, so that you can have detailed reports of this to kind of demonstrate capable kind of compliance and demonstrate that you are following local regulations around data security. So that is what we are coming with FlightBase Shield 2.0. I'll just go through a quick demo of the dashboard and how it looks like now. So we have a detailed section where we segregate data based on regions where data was blocked, firewall blocked events, as well as doing detailed analysis of the different protocols of the network and what things were blocked. We also keep a detailed record of all the different domains that were attempted, which were blocked. And all of this is like critical information when it comes to generating reports and demonstrating compliance with all of these rules around data security. And with that and the AIR piece of AIR hardware, which enables this firewall to sit very close to the docking station, we are able to guarantee the highest levels of data security.
That's great. So basically, what you're saying that this is the shield, right?
Yes.
You deploy this with every dock, and your dock is completely secured.
Absolutely. You deploy this with every dock, and through this firewall, the docking station is only allowed to connect to FlightBase servers and some domains which are allowed and vetted by FlightBase. Apart from that, the dock cannot communicate with any other endpoint or any other kind of server in the world.
So that means that IT teams have a complete report and a monitoring tool. They know which servers it's pinging to, right? And they can have that, and all that could be in the allow list or the deny list.
Absolutely. So with the allow list setup that we have over here, the IT teams will have complete configurability as to what they want to allow. And with FlightBase, that will be a very small list of just few FlightBase servers. Apart from that, nothing else. So with that setup and with the hardware that sits so close to the dock, there is nothing in between that can warrant any kind of data leak or something, which and further enhances data security. And more often than not, it is just peace of mind, right? For a lot of large enterprises who have big IT teams, this piece of hardware with the Security Shield 2.0 just gives a lot of peace of mind when you are deploying drone docks and its operations.
Right. So, Rudra, you've been working with customers where they are already deploying AI, right? And now they would be curious that how do I deploy this piece, right? We understand this is temperature hardened, but you cannot put this outdoors. Yeah. Like even if you're putting outdoors, you need a system where you can deploy that or a structure, right? So what have you been seeing and what kind of systems partners or customers have been developing and how does it get deployed along with the dock?
Sure. So I've seen multiple ways in which AIR is deployed along with Dock 1, Dock 2, and now Dock 3. So for Dock 1 and Dock 2, a lot of people have static deployments where they have maybe a shed or some sort of a structure where and the dock is positioned nearby. So they connect a LAN wire with the AIR unit, and that is how they deploy the AI unit in a slightly protected area. It's still it can be still exposed to the elements, but it's because it's temperature hardened. The build quality is great, so it's still able to work in that environment along with the dock, while ensuring that the network security is maintained.
Right. So basically, you need a structure where you can put this into a container or a pole. You can have a power backup. You can connect with additional CCTV cameras on the Ethernet ports, right? And you can get all that data there. Even you can connect Starlink, yes, with it for the backup connection.
Yes,
That's great.
so in just to add to this, in addition to if certain people, I've seen certain deployments which are mobile in nature. So the dock is moved from one place to the other in a matter of weeks or days. In those cases also, I've seen dock 1, dock 2 being tied with AIR to you over a trailer. So there's a dedicated trailer. You have your dock, your power sources, AIR unit, all of that packaged into one trailer, and that can be moved around.
Got it.
Yeah. Just one thing I wanted to add regarding the unit itself. So the unit itself is temperature hardened. So because a lot of these docks get deployed in remote regions, be it let's say in a desert where the temperatures might go like beyond 50 degrees centigrade or even sub-zero, the unit from a computational standpoint is temperature hardened, so it can fully function in that thing. It is just that with the enclosures that people are building, you want to protect it against rain, you want to protect it against dust. So that is what these enclosures are for. And then kind of you have the entire surrounding ecosystem around it with the power backup, with probably a dual LAN system and all of that. Yes, to kind of just ensure 24/7 smooth operations.
Great. Yeah, this is phenomenal. And we have seen a lot of customers, partners now scaling with AIR already. And we can't wait to get you an AIR with Dock 3 so you can have secure and reliable and get your IT compliance with the Dock 3. So this is great. And this is really great for people who are using cloud systems, right? But whether we have come across multiple customers, partners, regions where there are stringent policies as well as IT compliance where they can get started with a demo or a POC on a public cloud network, but they need everything in-house and they need something on-prem. And today we are very excited to publicly announce FlightBase On-Prem X1, which is the FlightBase's on-premise offering, and that is where we have Rutrev, who's going to show us the entire demo and what does the offering has to offer to customers in terms of deployment, server specs, and the features. And does some kind of features get reduced, or do you get the similar features there, right? So all of those are the questions everybody has. So let's tackle them one by one.
Sure. Yeah, I'm very happy to give this demo of what FlightBase X1 on-prem looks like. So it's very similar in its user interface as compared to the FlightBase cloud platform. So anybody who has used the FlightBase cloud platform before will find themselves at home using the on-prem environment. You will get all the features and utilities that we have on the cloud version in the on-prem version itself. So that includes in things like alarm flinks, RTSP streams for integration into Milestone, Genetic, these kind of videos VMS systems, and you will also have the ability to have guest sharing links. So all these things that you're used to as part of the FlightBase cloud offering will be available in the on-prem version also.
That's great. So basically, what you're seeing is that this is entirely deployed. What happens to the maps, right? A lot of people use maps online, right? This would require entire map server. So is it compatible? Is it already included in the offering?
Yes. So ideally on the cloud version, there is an online map which a lot of people use. However, in the on-prem version, we do provide our own maps. So users have the ability to customize what kind of map they want, what kind of satellite imagery they want, and that is part of our standard offering. In addition to that, if they have existing on-prem map servers, we can consider integration with that as well.
That's great. And what's also great is that the workflows remain the same, right? You have exact same features available here on the local network and could be deployed. And as well as you spoke about Flinks, right? So your any alarms, sensors, anything on your private network, local network, could be integrated and you can have exact same workflows that you have on the cloud.
Yes, absolutely. So if you have made any missions in the cloud version and you want to operate them in the on-prem version, you can do that. You can migrate all your data in the on-prem version if required. As far as workflows go, yes, whatever sensors you have, whether it could be motion sensor, fire detector, and so on, all of those sensors, if they are on the same network, can be integrated with FlightBase, and you can have a closed loop workflow where the alarms give a notification, the drone responds, and you get your first responder capabilities using the dashboard.
Got it. So one of the first questions that comes in is what kind of hardware server specs do I need, right? And what are those criteria? I'll talk about the skill set that is required, but probably let's tackle the hardware specs question to deploy FlightBase On-Premise X1 on your premise.
Yeah. So FlightBase On-Prem X1 is an enterprise grade platform. Therefore, we recommend that the server or that is being used to deploy this should have a server grade processor, perhaps Intel Xeon series or AMD Ryzen. Along that, we recommend a minimum of 48 GB of RAM and a 2 TB storage to start with. However, depending on the scale and intensity of operations, these resources can be scaled up, and we recommend that there should be hardware level scalability included within the setup.
Right. I think one of the insights that we have from the early deployment is these are mission critical systems that you're deploying. Be it you're deploying it for perimeter security or you're deploying for emergency response, and you could have critical infrastructure which is being monitored. So it's very important to have the right specifications, and that's the reason we make sure that we recommend something which is scalable. Of course, your specs are going to scale as you have more docks. But even starting with something like a 2 terabyte of storage, where users may not realize how quickly you can scale up your data, because in a non-dock kind of workflow, you could be just flying few missions a day, and then you have manual workflows to take out the data. But now, since you have the dock, right, you'd be collecting a lot of data, right, on every aspect. So, what are some learnings there, right? And why 2 terabytes to get started with? Why not like 200, 300 GB itself?
Yeah, so since you're deploying in an on-prem environment, a lot of files take a lot of space. That's one part. Then you have the map files, overlays, all those additional information that again takes up some disk space. Finally, when you start storing media in your local environment, the docks, they have they have very good quality cameras. These files, these videos, photos, panorama images can take up a lot of space very quickly.
That's great. And in terms of the skill set of the team, right? Of course, this is not easier deployment. This is not just signing up on the cloud and getting started. But of course, FlightBase as a team, we have been taking a lot of efforts to make it easier. So what kind of skill sets a partner or the customer in-house require to deploy this? And what kind of resources are available from FlightBase?
Yes. So since this is an on-prem deployment, we expect that the partner or the end user has a set of people who understand how to deploy on-prem systems. So they should understand how to set up a server or a virtual machine. They should understand how the deployment process goes. And once a deployment happens, then comes the networking and connecting all the elements together. So having good understanding of how to network all these elements together so that they operate cohesively is very important. To enable our partners and users to have the necessary skills, we have extensive documentation and enterprise grade support from our side. In addition to this, we will be rolling out courses for this in the future as well.
So we'd have courses on FlightBase Academy where you'll be able to get trained and certified to deploy this.
Absolutely.
Correct. And what is the roughly typical deployment time that you have seen so far of the initial deployments? Of course, this is the first time people are deploying things like this on premise with the docks. So what kind of timeline are you looking at when somebody gets started with this?
So since this is an emerging technology, initially we have seen 2 to 3 weeks deployment timelines. That has been continuing so far, but we are actively working on reducing this timeline to a matter of days so that the on-prem experience is also quite similar to the cloud experience where you sign up and out of the box it's ready to go.
Got it. Another question that usually comes up is like flexibility of using the hardware, right? So like, do I need a new server? Can I have virtual machine? What is recommended and how should one proceed as they're looking to deploy this on premise?
Sure. So a lot of people or a lot of enterprises have existing server farms or data centers. In those cases, they recommend that you deploy it on a virtual machine. FlightBase on-prem offering is flexible in terms of its deployment. It can be deployed on fresh servers as well as existing servers in the form of virtual machines. So depending on the user requirement, we proceed with those kind of deployments.
Got it. And does it require any internet? Like you need internet for activation, or you of course covered the map data, but can it be deployed without internet at all?
So beyond the deployment process, once the deployment and validation has been completed, there is no requirement of internet. FlightBase on-prem offering is natively air-gapped. Therefore, it can operate without any internet connection once it has been deployed and validated.
Awesome. So no requirement. It could be entirely secure.
Yes.
Your own network, and you can completely operate that. And this is also useful for any kind of deployments, which maybe IT compliance is one of the things, but they don't even want to use cloud and pay for all the video viewer minutes. Right. That scales up a lot, right? And if you have a dock on your rooftop, right, you can probably deploy this and have your flights, unlimited flights, as long as you're using over a local network.
Yes.
Right. And another question, like, is this compatible with on-prem? Like, of course, you have the entire security with this, but AI becomes the piece, right? And we understand that Dock 3 already has some basic modules, but that does not cover all the modules which are there, right? You could be doing inspection, you could be doing thermal detection, and that is where all the customers, partners can bring their data and we can provide them the model and they can leverage AI. Is that correct?
Yes. And I'm happy to inform you all that FlightBase on-prem is compatible with FlightBase AIR. So the AIR can be used with Dock 1, Dock 2, and now Dock 3 in the on-prem environment. And you will have all the AI capabilities as well as full control of your data and the platform deployed on your server.
Awesome. So AI is covered and you can have your custom data coming in and it can help you with the models where all those detection and workflows could be done. You can integrate your alarms, any kind of sensors, additional systems that you have on the local network, and that could be integrated as well. And then as you go for operations where you need additional peripheral systems around the dock, like CCTV cameras, detect and avoid systems, and so on, the FlightBase AIR could become that accelerated compute unit, which can integrate everything and a centerpiece, which can provide all that intelligence and data to the dashboard. So that is where on-premise X1 and AIR is a great combination to deploy your Dock 3 now, or the different docking stations that you already have with you. Now, let's move to the next topic, right, which is also being critical where docks are being deployed, and that is integrations. And we have seen a huge kind of adoption of different integrations where we have ready integrations available, we have custom integrations. But today we are very excited to announce how people have taken custom integration to the next level, where they have integrated different kind of elements, systems together to create their workflows. And you would be the best guy as you're working with customers very closely. That what kind of systems have you seen now being getting integrated from the customers end, where they're leveraging the custom Flinks and the APIs or the FlightBase platform?
Yes. So from a Flinks perspective, a big area of application is security and surveillance. So I have seen and I have worked with customers who are integrating sensors and video surveillance systems from companies like Avigilon. And they have a workflow where a sensor triggers a flight-based custom alarm Flink, and the drone is then programmed to respond to these alarms. And Avigilon has a suite of sensors which can be integrated with FlightBase. So having those kind of workflows uh, makes a lot of sense for a lot of customers. In addition to these kind of sensors, I have also come across users who are integrating GPRS sensors. So GPRS modules are part of larger IoT systems, and these GPRS modules can send location data to FlightBase, and again, the drone can be then programmed to respond to those locations. And this is useful in situations where the sensors can be sending either a distress signal or a fire alarm, and or any other kind of any other kind of alert that requires a response from a drone.
And this can work on really low bandwidth, right? Because the PRS and that you do not require 4G for this, right? Yeah, you could have those sensors. And I assume that a lot of IoT sensors which are deployed at scale are also still relying on the GPRS technology.
Absolutely. In addition to this, we have quite a few partners and end customers who use cameras from Tower Technology and other big CCTV system providers. And I am happy to report that we have existing integrations with all of these systems. So if a partner or an end user chooses to use these CCTV cameras, then FlightBase can be configured so that any alerts received from these systems can be then directed to FlightBase, and the drone will then again respond to those alerts. Finally, we have also come across integrations with computer-aided dispatch systems, namely Central Square. So, from if a 911 response is received on Central Square, then the dispatch officer can program a flight-based drone to respond to that particular location. And as first responders on the ground, they will have eyes in the sky before they reach the location and then allocate resources appropriately. So all these integrations are in the works by different partners and customers in different geographies, and a lot of innovative work is being done. We are also planning to integrate with other kinds of sensors, for example, radars, in times to come, which will make the platform and the integrations significantly powerful.
That's great. So basically, this is what we're loving with our partners, right? And this is all thanks to our partners who have been leveraging the custom Flink to integrate these kind of systems. And if you have such kind of systems and that needs to be integrated, we're happy to help you and expand that so you can truly have an enterprise workflow. So that covers the Flink part and what is happening. And we are very excited to see that what would happen with Dock 3 and Flinks, considering all the workflows that is now possible with the latest camera that has come on, as well as all the peripheral systems that could be integrated with Dock 3. Now let's talk about the latest updates in the platform, right? And some of them are very critical, where you're deploying that and you need certain kind of beamless regulations, you're facing challenges with bandwidth and so on. So one of the popular requirements that has been, because docks are deployed mostly remote, and there are a lot of deployments, be it in like desert or in like middle of nowhere, right? And the only technology that could help you get access to the internet is Starlink, right? And that thanks to Elon for that, where you can now connect anywhere in the world with a Starlink. But the challenges come there are, of course, the bandwidth, and our dear docks kind of take a lot of data, be it like live streaming video or telemetry or the live control. You cannot afford to have the latency as you're looking on a certain wildlife or a security response where dock is practically not reachable anywhere, right? So you can still get power with solar and everything, but you need to rely on Starlink. But that bandwidth problem still remains, right? So we realized that people are using FlightBase and finding it much more practical to be used with Starlink. And now we have a very uh, much integrated systems available and the data where FlightBase is performing much better than anybody else in the world on Starlink. So why is that, Amog? And what have we done there where you can leverage DJI Dock 1, 2, 3 over Starlink and get a great kind of latency? And it'd be great if you can share some figures of latency and what we have been getting then.
Right. So with Starlink, what generally we face is there are two major problems there. One is latency, of course, as all of these docks, which are in a lot of remote places, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and you're really far away from any 4G network, or it's a kind of impossible there to kind of have a hardwired line going there, which you can hardwire to your dock for internet. So with the Starlink, the primary kind of concern there, firstly, is latency, and the next is interruption. So even minor brief interruptions in network can kind of really hinder drone dock operations, because these kind of interruptions can then be perceived as internet link loss situations, which then triggers fail safe and abort your operations. So frequent, intermittent, even 5-second, 10-second interruptions in network can be a hassle to a lot of these remote operations. And that is where what we are doing is we have set up a lot of local nodes all across the world in different regions. So and with this kind of a setup, the dock is able to now connect to the nearest local node and not to all of our servers in the US, which gives you really low latency. So with a few of our partners, we are seeing latency numbers as low as 50 milliseconds to 70 milliseconds round trip. And this is really powerful as it reduces the latency and also reduces the impact of small network interruptions of up to 5 to 10 seconds, which are common with networks like Starlink. And by solving this, what we are enabling is drones and docks, as they get deployed more and more in these remote places, Starlink will kind of become the de facto network option, as 4G, 5G, or even kind of an LTE system with a hardwired setup becomes more and more difficult to set up. And that is where this kind of local node setup that we have come up with can help you have reliable operations even in such spotty network conditions.
That's great. So that is where you can now leverage Starlink. And as we earlier mentioned, a lot of people are using AIR, are building systems where they always have a Starlink with that setup. Right. And you can see probably in the pictures that we had shared, and we have a bunch of them on our website as well, what kind of systems people have been developing. Starlinks is, of course, a critical piece of the technology that is required for remote operations and remote dock deployments. Yeah. And with this kind of infrastructure available with FlightBase, you can have seamless operations.
Right.
Now, another thing, Amok, which is recently launched and become popular is, of course, the parachute integration. And thanks to AVSS, and huge shout out to Josh and team who have been building great parachutes for the docking stations. And now they have a parachute available for the M4DT or the Dock 3 drone that is available, right? And we have now ready integration available with the AVSS parachute. So would like to just speak about that and how does that function, right? And any instance that Rudev you can share that probably have happened, and what kind of reliability does it bring?
Right. So with the AVSS parachute integration, what we have come up with on the FlightBase platform is complete visibility of the parachute. And in the odd cases where parachute is deployed, this might be probably due to some kind of flight termination being triggered, or probably drone trying to wander off outside the NFZ, or situations like this, where the AVSS parachute in itself has a lot of capability where it can automatically detect these kind of free fall scenarios, or scenarios where the drone is going outside the geofence, and automatically trigger the FTS on the drone and then deploy the parachute. So the drone now starts free falling and the parachute deploys. So it's kind of a gradual descent now to the ground. With this on FlightBase, what operators who are sitting in the remote command centers can actually clearly see the state of where the drone was last deployed. They get clear warnings as to where the drone has landed, the last location, and this location remains persistent in the platform till an operator clearly acknowledges that the drone has been rescued. So kind of owning that end-to-end workflow where a parachute deploys, the drone would safely land on the ground, and then performing the entire retrieval process. And FlightBase is there all throughout, maintaining that entire situational awareness of where the drone has landed, what has happened with the parachute, so on and so forth, all over the C2 link that is established over internet. So with this, the operators have clear visibility of what has gone wrong and why the parachute deployed, so on, along with the last location, so that they can do a seamless retrieval of the drone and then further repairs can follow. So that is what we have come up with this integration. Rudrab, if you would like to share few.
Yes. So recently there was a situation in one of our customer site in the Asia Pacific region where the flight termination system was triggered and the parachute was deployed and the drone landed safely without any kind of damage. It was ready to use right after that. So the system is now field tested. It's working, and it has proven itself in the ready for operations. So it's not just a button on the dashboard. It can actually be used, and it will work. That's the confidence that we have.
No, that's great. And now we have validations, right? Where this is something which is very useful. So, of course, this is required for all your BVLOS approvals, right? So, parachute is must have. One is, of course, the major aspect is safety, but the compliance piece also comes with it. So, all of this would required to get your BVLOS compliance as well. And again, thanks to ADSS with all the STM and NOC compliance that they have, right? So you can deploy these kind of systems with the DJI docks and the drone. Awesome. So those were the major updates on the safety side and the linked side, right? There are a couple of more updates which have come to the platform, which is the joystick integration with Thrustmaster, which has been there, but now we have done multiple enhancements, so you can have a great experience flying the drone with a joystick and have very minor control. So probably Rudev, you can quickly share what has come to the platform and how people can try that through the platform.
Yeah. So joystick integration has been there on the FlightBase platform for a while, and we understand that a lot of people like to manually control the drone in critical situations, especially for public safety and law enforcement use cases. In addition, a lot of people transition from flying the drone using the RC to flying the drone from a computer, and they are quite comfortable using the joystick. For both of these situations, we have now introduced a setting which allows you to uh, configure the speed at which the drone responds to your manual controls while the drone is in the air. Earlier, this was done only when the drone was in the dock. Now you can do this while the drone is in the air, and this allows you to either program the drone for very quick responses in case you are perhaps doing a high speed car chase or something like that, or you want to make the drone like a sentinel tower, so it just holds its position at a high altitude and you want just minute controls, so you can configure the drone accordingly using the joystick.
Got it. So that's great. And this is something which is readily available, right? So if you have a Thrustmaster joystick, you can integrate that, just plug it in and start flying a drone using the FlightBase platform.
Yes, we have enabled certain buttons on the Thrustmaster joystick, which will allow you to control these responses over the different dimensions in which the drone can move.
Right. And if probably you have any other joystick, you can still talk to us and that could be also seamlessly integrated.
Yes.
Awesome. So that is great. And that brings a lot of control and flexibility for remote operators as they manually take the control of the drone, look at a particular object, a car or a person. And this is something where they can have that minute control over the drone and dock. And you have a very haptic interface available with joystick to control that. Awesome. And that brings us to the last piece of it, right? And there's a brief story with that. So this started happening with certain customers who are deploying docks in very large fields, right? And of course, when you're deploying this, the earth is not flat. So it's the terrain, of course, goes up and down. While you could have 3D maps to plan everything, right, and have all the missions done, drones could probably take a straight path over an RTH or return to home. And it would be good to have a better visibility of when you're planning this mission, where what are the chances of drone hitting a tree coming back? And that already happened with one of the customers as they were deploying this. So that kind of helped us realize that what kind of systems that are required as you're applying this mission. And today we are happy to announce that FlightBase has the terrain and in-flight or altitude visualization built in. And probably Rudev, you can talk about that a little bit, and we can show on the screen that how that feature works, and what kind of benefit does it offer to the remote operators as they're applying their missions or probably doing an emergency response, go to location kind of a mission.
Yeah. So as part of this feature, terrain visualization and in-flight visualization, there are two elements to this. One is during your mission planning or your flight configuration for a go-to location. In both of these situations, before the flight, you will get to see a terrain visualization map. This image will contain the local terrain along the flight path, along with the RTDS, GTSA, max flight altitude, all these flight critical settings that you have done. So it will give you a very clear picture of whether or not it's safe to fly along the flight path that you have chosen. Once you have approved of this, during flight, you will also have an in-flight visualizer as part of the cockpit view as well as the fleet view, where you'll be able to see the drone's position in the 3D space along with markers for the terrain as well as the maximum flight altitude. This will again allow operators to locate their drone with respect to the limits that they have set, the lower limit being the terrain and the upper limit being the maximum flight altitude. This has we have got great feedback on this particular feature. It has increased the situational awareness in a lot of in a lot of places, and as drones and docks start to get deployed in much more difficult to navigate terrain, this feature is proving to be vital.
I think also, especially now with the Dock 3 and the enhanced range, right? This becomes more and more critical that you have detailed visibility of altitude, as now with the Dock 3, the drone can fly farther.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing that. And we have all the details available regarding this at releases.flightbase.com. You can just go to the website and learn more about these details. And the detailed documentation would be available on docs.flightbase.com. That is docs.flightbase.com. So with that, we have come to the end of the webinar. We would like to thank first Irving for sharing all the insights. And then, of course, Amog, Rudev, you've been great in sharing the details there, which would definitely help all the viewers as they get started with their Dock 3 operations or even enhance their current operations as well. And guys, all of that is available at just $99 per month to get started with FlightBase Pro, right? So if you haven't catched up to the FlightBase Pro, we would request you to just go to flightbase.com/pricing and you can get started today at just $99 per month, and then have add-ons. All the pay-as-you-go offering is available for you to put AIR and put other elements as well. So if you have your Dock 3 already received or you already have your Dock 2, feel free to give it a shot and try all these new features, and we'll see you in the next session.